Hey everyone, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a first impression foundation review on the Becca Ever Matte Shine Proof Foundation, and I have this one in the shade Buttercup, so fingers crossed this matches. So the packaging of the foundation comes in a squeeze tube like this, so it's really good because you can get right to the last of the product, and it comes in a 40ml size, which is really good because most foundations are 30ml, so you get an extra 10ml of product. On the box the product just says that it is an unmatched matte finish. This long wearing medium coverage foundation features a unique microfine powder that absorbs oil so your complexion remains fresh and shine free throughout the day. For an extra matte effect, use with Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector for 12-hour shine control, suitable for normal to oily skin. So my skin is normal to oily. I am combination, so I do get a bit of oil flow through the T-zone, and I am going to be using it with the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. This is just a little mini size, but it lasts for ages, this stuff. It's only a 12ml, but I've had it for a long time and it's really good. I find it actually does a great job of keeping my skin matte throughout the day. We'll try them together since they are designed to be used together, and we'll see how they hold up. With this primer, I don't usually use it all over the skin. I only use it in certain areas where I get my oiliness. All I do is just warm it in the hands and then press it into the skin. Like I said, my T-zone is where I get oily, so that's where I put the primer. Now, as you can see, I do have a few blemishes and breakouts at the moment. My skin just did not react well to tan removal, so my skin is having a bit of a freak out at the moment, but it'll be a good opportunity to test out the coverage of the foundation. It does only claim to be a medium coverage, so it's probably not going to cover the spots and blemishes on my skin completely, but it will be a good chance to see if it picks up on any dry areas around the blemishes or anything like that as well. Okay, so I have my headband on and I'm all ready to go. I'm going to be using the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush to apply the foundation today because it is my favourite. I'm just going to start out with a small amount of product on the back of my hand. It does look very yellow, as you can see, but the shade is called Buttercup, so what do you expect really? And it looks like quite a thick formula. It's not like dripping down my hand or anything like that, so it is a thicker consistency. I might just start out by just dotting some of it onto the skin. Just start out with that amount and just leave some on the back of my hand and just see how we get on with this smudge. I know I'll need more, but just to start out with. So far it's blending out really easily with that one thin layer, which I'm gonna need a lot more product, but I did only use like the tiniest little amount. I'm just adding some more foundation to amp up the coverage a bit. Foundation definitely does look matte and does go matte straight away, but you do have a little bit of time to blend out the product. It doesn't seem to set really quickly onto the skin. It is definitely a very yellow toned shade. I feel slightly like a Simpsons character. It does match the fake tan pretty good. Obviously it's not really covering the blemishes and breakouts all that much, but like I said, I wasn't really expecting it to be more of a medium coverage. I feel like it's gone quite patchy around my forehead. You can see here it's definitely clung on these areas, but then in these areas here it's a lot lighter, so you can see my natural skin colour through it quite a lot, and it's kind of harder to now blend that. And then here for some reason the product isn't sticking to that area. This side is better. I don't know why. I did the exact same thing on both sides, but that side just seems to look a little bit better than this side. I'll try putting a little bit more product just on this area, and maybe a little bit more just on the forehead where you can see how patchy it's gone. It's really weird. Oh, don't need that much product. Okay, so I don't feel like I like it in any of the areas where I have tried to build it up more. It definitely is looking really cakey in this area. I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't blend out very well. I feel like on this side here, it looks really good because probably I just did one thin layer and my skin's pretty good on that side. The forehead where I've tried to build up the product definitely looks cakey and patchy, and yeah, not really loving how it's sort of gone around this area. It hasn't really clung onto the dry skin that much. It's just kind of gone cakey in that area. It's just really caked up and it just doesn't look nice. I usually do prefer to just use a full coverage foundation to conceal my blemishes, especially when they're like this, because they're actually not that big and bad. They're not that red. They look a lot worse on camera than what they look in real life. So when they're not that bad, I don't really mind using a heavier coverage foundation, but with this foundation being only medium coverage, it doesn't cover it very well. I really do like the way it's sitting on this side where I've done just a lighter coverage. All in all, at this stage, not 100% impressed with it. I will apply some concealer and powder, bronzer, blush, all of that good stuff, and then I will come back and let you know how everything else applied on top of it. Okay, so I have finished off the rest of my face and everything applied really easily and smoothly over the top, although I did apply for a start the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer, and that is a very thick concealer and it's hard to blend out at the best of times. I shouldn't really have not used that one, so I ended up going in with the Urban Decay concealer over the top because it's a lot more spreadable. I definitely feel like with the powder my face is looking a little bit cakey. This side here definitely looks way better where I've applied less product, so I feel like the trick with this foundation is not using too much, especially like in between my eyebrows. It looks really cakey there. Foundation has gone quite a bit darker than what it was when I originally applied it. As it dries, I feel like it oxidizes a little bit, so just be aware of that if you are looking for your color. Make sure you don't go too dark because it oxidizes slightly, like probably half a shade. So far, not overly impressed with this foundation. Will be good to see how it wears, because if it is a really good long wearing foundation and I don't get a lot of shine throughout the day, I'll definitely keep using it. I'll just make sure that I use a lot less, so I'll have to use it when I have good skin pretty much. So the time is now 11:27, so I will check back in a few hours and let you know how it's going. Probably leave it on for about 5 hours, but I'll see if anything significant has changed in that time. I'll update you guys, and then I'll hopefully leave it on until probably about 9 or 10 tonight, so we'll see how we get on. Okay, so I am back for a quick update on the foundation. Just filmed another couple of videos. I just thought I would update you on how the foundation is going. The time is only 1:14, so it's not too late yet. It hasn't been on my skin for that long. Like I said, if anything did significantly change, I would update you. I just noticed in the bathroom mirror that it has really started to accentuate my smile lines, and like way more than any other foundation has done on me. It's just like really gone quite cakey. I'll zoom in a bit so you can really get the true idea of how bad it is. See how there's this big crease? It's just not attractive. And then the same on this side, and I just feel like here on my chin it just looks super cakey. Just on my whole face I feel like it looks so, like around my nose and everywhere, it just looks so cakey. The only thing I would say that's improved is I feel like the colour doesn't look as yellow anymore. I don't know whether that just when it oxidized, if it went to like a more normal skin colour rather than being so Simpsons. Forehead, not as bad on those lines. I wouldn't say it looks good there. I don't really know how I feel about this foundation. I feel really bad doing like a negative review on something, but I do want to be really honest with you guys, and so far I'm not loving this foundation, and I really was expecting I would love this because I love the primer. I'll check back in again later on and update you and let you know how it's going. Hopefully it improves. So I am back. It's 4:55, so I'm back for a foundation update. So at this point I would say my foundation hasn't gotten any worse. I guess that's a good thing. It's definitely still got these big crease lines. It's kind of gone funny on my nose. You can see there on my nose this nice big line. I feel like it probably makes my pores look a little bit more enlarged rather than less. This forehead area is looking pretty tragic, just really cakey, but I haven't got oily, and that's what it claims to do, is to keep oil at bay. Just ignore my terrible lipstick, which is definitely starting to to come off now. Just try out a little bit just on my chin, just to see the colour difference. Yeah, see how yellow that is? And then my face isn't that yellow anymore. I don't know, I feel like it must oxidize and take away that real yellowness. So that's kind of strange. I mean, that's good. I'm glad that it does blend into a more normal colour. Probably not a good idea to lay out more product, but I just want to see the difference in colour. I would really like to try it with a primer like Benefit Professional or the Hourglass Veil primer or something like that that's quite smoothing, and try it out with that sort of a primer rather than just the matte primer that it's designed to be used with. I feel like a normal primer would help avoid this real patchiness. I'm just not really impressed with how the foundation looks. I will give it another go. I'm not someone that will just write off a foundation the first time I've used it. It's definitely very powdery, so the few things I'd want to try would be a primer, maybe not powdering and just see how that goes. Being more oily, that like scares me, but the fact of how powdery and cakey it looks with the powder over the top, maybe that could be a step to avoid. I'll keep you updated as to my thoughts. I really want to try still the Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream because I've heard that's a really good one, and obviously if it's called Ultimate Coverage it's designed to have more coverage than this, and it's not so matte, so it might be a good one for me to try out. Unfortunately I am disappointed with this foundation. I've had it on my skin now for about 5.5 hours. It has held up really well. I don't look shiny or greasy. Kind of do in this light, but in person I definitely don't. You can see in this lighting a little bit more than in the previous lighting how cakey it looks. That's the only word I can use to describe it, is cakey. I will probably come back just one more time. I don't think my overall impression of it is going to get better. Well, one thing that's good about it is definitely transfer resistant, being so matte. It definitely, you know, it's not going to come off on anything. Definitely doesn't transfer onto the backs of my hands when I do that. That's really good, and it has worn well, like it's not going patchy or coming off in any areas. I will come back in a few hours and keep you posted on how the foundation is looking. I don't have high hopes, and then I'm really keen to just take this off and do a face mask or something, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. Okay, so the time is 8:49 and I am back for my final update on the foundation. So I've got my mirror here, I've got my flashlight on my phone again because once again my lighting isn't very good at this time of night. So I feel like I am definitely starting to get a bit of shine through my T-zone now. Foundation has been on for like 9.5 hours, so it's kind of not unexpected. Everywhere else it has held up pretty good. I mean, it's still looking really cakey. Obviously it's not going to get less cakey. I don't think it looks any better than it did earlier. I feel like it just is not the right foundation for me. I will try it out again and see if I can make it work better, like I said, with a different primer, and just see if I can use it with a smaller layer. But I was reading on the website that it's designed to be buildable, so I don't know, that confuses me since I did build it up and then it did not look good. It's really hard to tell on camera as well. Like, I feel like the colour's been a little bit different on camera to what it is in real life. Like I said before, it was a lot more yellow earlier in the day. I definitely feel like that yellowness has sort of settled down. I feel like I could definitely get away with this shade of foundation. So if I did try the Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream, I think I'd probably get the same colour again. Not too sure. And I would definitely try out the other Becca foundations. I'm not off the brand or anything like that. It's just that this product didn't really work out for me. I feel like it would be good if you had like true oily skin, whereas I'm more combo. I normally love a matte finish as well. This is very, very matte in comparison to the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet foundation. I much prefer that one. I find that it doesn't look cakey like this does. So if you had to choose one out of the two, I would definitely go for that one. The disappointing thing, I suppose, with this foundation is that Becca foundations are not cheap. I think this retails for $70 on Sephora. Lately I got it from Camera Ready Cosmetics, which they have it on there for like $55, and then it's cheaper again with pro discounts. So I'm glad that I didn't pay $70 for it, or otherwise I would be really disappointed. Please excuse my lipstick. I'm ready to just take my makeup off and go to bed. I did feel like my chin was getting like really itchy, and I was trying my best not to scratch it because obviously I had to come back on camera. I don't know if that's from the foundation or what. I was like hoping that it's not going to make me break out any more since my skin has already been quite up in the air. I'm just really ready to get this foundation off. You can see how much it's come off my nose area, around my mouth. These smile lines still look pretty bad. I hate to give a negative review on something, but at the same time I want to be completely honest with my opinions on things, and I couldn't just sit here and say that this is a good foundation or recommend it to other people when it hasn't worked for me. I think it's good in the fact that you get 40 mils of product, which is more than a standard foundation, and it would work well for some skin types. Just saying it didn't work out for me. So if you love this foundation, don't get offended that I don't like it. It just did not work out for my skin type. Sorry to be such a Debbie Downer, but thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first impression foundation review. I've got some other foundations on the way which I hope to do first impressions on as well, so I can let you know my opinions and thoughts on those ones. I hope you've all had a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!